We're done hiding. This is the correct religion. This is the religion that all of humanity needs to be a part of, Islam. And we will not stop until it enters every home. I want to hear it in every single district. It should tremble. Brooklyn should hear it. The Bronx should hear it. Queens should hear it. La ilaha illallah.
Hey, Shalom, which means peace, brothers and sisters. I believe you just saw that video right there where you see the Nicolaitans say they're done hiding because something big is happening. Something big, not just here, but worldwide. So these Nicolaitan are beginning to rise up. So just like it said in old time, knowing the old from the new, we have to understand what's really happening in our society. So understand first about who these Nicolaitan are. We did a video. I did a video on this about the Nicolaitans exposed. So with scriptures, so you can understand who these people are. These are the Muslims. Those are the Nicolaitans. They have the deed of the Nicolaitans, which means to conquer. You have to understand who these Nicolaitans are and what they're about. We even did another video that was done, which goes into what they were doing in Nigeria. This shows proof that these are actually the Nicolaitans. They have the same deeds. Now, the reason why I'm constantly have to bring these things up because of this. Isaiah 58:1. It says, cry aloud, spare not, lift up thy voice like a trumpet, and show my people their transgressions, and the house of Jacob their sins. So saying cry aloud and spare not. So we're not here to spare people's feelings. Oh, how you know they're the Nicolaitans? Yeah, we already showed. They had the conquer, a spiritual conquering, both spiritual and sometimes even physical, which is the reason why there's so many Islamic terrorist groups. And they're very hypocritical with it too, and there's some other stuff too, but they also have another doctrine too, which allows them to lie. We're going to get into that later. But I want to get more and more about a certain person. So, and that's this guy, Zohran Mamdani. Yeah. Let's go to Isaiah 32:5. It says, the vile person shall no more be called liberal. Or vile meaning disgusting, or the churl said to be bountiful. So these wicked people aren't just going to go around walking around freely without someone saying something. We have to say something. We have to stand up, like rise up for the evildoers. Rise up, who shall rise up before me for the evildoers? Mean rise up against the evildoers. We have to do it. By why? By our words. We have to understand that there's this Islamic takeover or this Nicolaitan takeover because they're cursed. Revelations 2:15. So hast thou also them that hold the doctrine of the Nicolaitans, which thing I hate. So watch the two videos called The Deeds of the Nicolaitans Exposed and also the Nicolaitans Attacking the Nigerians. Those two videos go into it greatly, how they are exposed, why they are the Nicolaitans. And also, I said they're cursed. But how are they cursed? Let's see. 1 Corinthians 16:22. If any man love not the Lord Jesus Christ, let him be anathema maranatha. Anathema means accursed. Maranatha means the Lord has come. So they are cursed until the Lord comes because they don't love the Lord Jesus Christ. Why? Because they reject him being crucified. They say he wasn't crucified. Yeah, they say that. That's in the video, The Nicolaitans Exposed. We go into that deeply. and also another curse that's upon them. Let's go to Galatians, first chapter, and the 8th verse. Galatians 1 and 8. It says, "But we, or an angel from heaven, preach any other gospel unto you than that which we have preached unto you, let him be accursed." So if a person comes with a book, another book other than the Bible, because a prophet was taught, a so-called prophet was taught in a cave by an angel, a new revelation, let that guy be accursed. And verse 9, and it says this, Galatians 1 and 9, "As we said before, so say I now again, if any man preach any other gospel unto you than that ye have received, let him be accursed." So if they over there talking any other gospel or calling the Lord any other name other than what's written in the Bible, then let him be accursed. So these Nicolaitans, they're accursed. And they love. Then there's one thing also Muslims love. They love cussing. See them all the time. There's no restraint of their tongue. At least the people in the mainstream churches don't use profanity like that, especially around their family members who are devout, so-called devout Christians, but these guys don't care. If you understand, they're attracted to violence. Why do you think that many of them convert to Islam in prison? Just think about that. That's one of the biggest conversion areas, prison. Now, let's go back to this person, Zohran Mamdani, this Nicolaitan. He has many views. Hey, he even pushes, there's rumors about him want to push the Sharia law. Whether he wants to push the Sharia law or just let it pass by, meaning when he takes the office and Sharia law takes effect, he just let it go. That's an unrighteous decree. Isaiah 10 and 1. "Woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees, and that write grievousness, which they have prescribed." Yes, the Sharia laws. Grievous. That's the laws that's attached to that in those Nicolaitans. Grievous. Let's see a video of what happened in New York City under Sharia law, or what happens in Sharia law.
Make Sharia law great again! What will happen under Sharia law? What will happen if Islam rules Texas or rules Michigan? Under Sharia law, homosexuals must be executed. In 1991, the Constitution of Iran, they said that homosexuals should be thrown off a mountain or stoned to death. Happy Pride Month. Under Sharia law, your husband can beat you up, marry someone without telling you, marry 4 women without telling you. For all my feminists that love Islam and hate Christianity, unmarried fornicators should be whipped and adulterers be stoned to death. Under Sharia law, a thief must have a hand cut off and highway robbers must be crucified or mutilated. Drinkers and gamblers should be whipped. Under Sharia law, death for Muslim critics of Muhammad. If you speak about Muhammad, you should die. Apostates must be killed. What's an apostate? It's someone who leaves Islam. Islam is not a religion. Islam is a mafia. Islam is the Trojan horse of the West that masquerades itself as a religion of peace, a religion that's oppressed, a religion that's minority, the religion that's peaceful. But under all of that, what makes Islam? This is wisdom, not to see what's on the outside, but to see what's hiding underneath. What makes up Islam?
Australia is conquered. France is conquered. Sweden is conquered.
You might think I'm in Morocco, Algeria, an Arab country. Habibi, this is Belgium. Belgium, Brussels. Brussels has become an Arab country, I'm not gonna lie. It's not Belgium.
Belgium is conquered.
Brussels has become...
Britain is conquered. Toronto is conquered. Philadelphia is conquered. Michigan is conquered. New York is conquered. Even in Japan. And I could carry on and on. Keep ignoring it, because what could possibly go wrong?
Now, just like you seen in the video, a lot of craziness. That's how it's going to be pushed. Like it's being pushed in areas in Europe. I mean, Sharia law was pushed in Africa during the old times. Yeah, it's nothing new. Yeah, this is Ecclesiastes 1:9. The thing that hath been, it is that which shall be done. And that which is done, the thing that it has been is that which shall be, and that which is done is that which shall be done. And there is no new thing under the sun. Yeah, like I said, Sharia law was pushed in Africa during the old times. There's a video on that.
Islam is not a religion of peace, it's a religion of conquest, okay? Have you ever heard of the trans-Saharan slave trade? Yeah, everyone always brings up the white colonization and occupation of the West in America, but no one ever talks about the Islamic trans-Saharan slave trade spanning about 1,300 years in Africa, particularly in sub-Saharan Africa, where 10 to 18 million Africans were enslaved, men and boys were castrated, 6 out of 10 boys bled to death, okay? Women were taken and sent off as sex slaves to be a part of harems, right? That was the primary goal of such a slave trade, was to send the women off to be raped and systematically subjugated into sex slavery. Now, 1/4 of the world's Muslim population currently still reside in northern, western, and eastern Africa, where they still colonize and still brutalize and still enslave and still systematically murder Christians to this day. Now, keep this in mind. For all the hate us Christians receive, right? We aren't the ones and haven't been the ones going around right now in areas of the world blowing ourselves up in markets full of people in the name of our religion, okay? Or constantly slaughtering people wholesale in Africa, or imposing Sharia law, for which, trust me, feminists, try your smash the patriarchy ideology while under Sharia law. All right, so in short, Christianity is what built America with our morals, our values, and our ethics, and Islam aims to destroy it.
Now, let's go into Mamdani, because so many people are fond of him. But do they even understand his policies? But look how they look at him. They're all so happy that they voted for him. They're like, yes, Mamdani is in the office. They show him at the bars, like the clubs, even at the Pride Fest with the transgenders. He's all over. They're so happy that he's won. Let's go to Luke 16:15 to see how they're pushing this man up, this guy Mamdani. Luke 16:15. And he said unto them, Ye are they which justify yourself before men, but God knoweth your hearts. For they which is highly esteemed among men is abomination in the sight of God. Whoa. Let's read that again. Luke 16:15. And he said unto them, Ye that which justify yourselves before men. Yeah, like these politicians saying, oh, I do this, I'll help this, I help this person. But God knows your heart. Yeah, God knows Mamdani's heart. For that which is highly esteemed amongst men is abomination in the sight of the Most High. So those that's pushed up on a high pedestal is an abomination, because that's pride right there. Jeremiah 17:5. Thus saith the Lord, Cursed be the man that trusteth in man, and maketh flesh his arm, whose heart departed from the Lord. They want to trust in Mamdani. Mamdani, he departed from he doesn't even believe in the Lord of the Bible. He's a practicing Muslim. Well, he's a Muslim. That's what he says. He's a Muslim and a socialist. So of course he doesn't believe that the God of the Bible is the true God. He believes in that false ideology, that way of the Nicolaitans. So but people, they were so happy that they voted for Mamdani. They said, yeah, yay, Mamdani won.
I'm voting for Mamdani.
Zohran Mamdani.
Zohran Mamdani may soon make history by becoming the city's first Muslim mayor. I'm Ben Kowaler with the New York Post, and today we're talking to a demographic that loves Zohran almost as much as Muslim voters do. Let's talk to the sex workers. Do you think Zohran has, like, the sex worker vote in the bag?
I would go as far as to say yes.
Mamdani has long advocated for decriminalizing prostitution, which critics say could actually lead to more sex trafficking and a more generally brothely atmosphere.
Some people think that if we legalize prostitution or even decriminalize prostitution, this city is going to turn into Sodom and Gomorrah, or
Right.
one of those anyway.
I mean, we decriminalized weed.
Yeah, now the whole place smells like weed.
Yeah, but the world didn't end, and those people's lives got changed in no way.
If you really think about it, at the most basic level, supporting sex work is literally just mutual aid. From what I've seen, Mamdani is for mutual aid.
Why do you think sex workers specifically should be voting for Mamdani?
Mamdani, as an assemblyman, has co-sponsored the legislation, Cecilia's Law, which aims to decriminalize sex work.
These were some well-informed strippers and prostitutes.
What are your needs?
I mean, like, one first step is just reducing housing discrimination for people who are strippers, sex workers, the like. He seems like the kind of candidate who would sit down with a working group of sex workers.
Now, Psalms 118:9. It is better to trust in the Lord than to put confidence in princes. Yeah, everybody want to put princes are people high in power, like Mamdani. He's high in power. But hey, it gets crazy. Why does it get crazy? Because it's policies. See, you have to understand how a serpent works. A serpent don't just come and make noises. Just don't come and make noises. He's sneaky and crafty. That's how a serpent is. They're sneaky. They're in the grass. They're on the ground. They're in the sand. They sneak up. And then they attack. And they seep their poison in. But they come low and very lowly before they attack. And once their poison get into you, it's too late. So let's look at Mamdani's his policies. Because his policies sounds good to people. Let's see a couple. I'm gonna go into a couple. Freezing the rent. All right, I'm reading it right now. Freezing the rent. Mamdani's signature campaign promise was to freeze the rent for more than 2 million tenants living in rent-controlled housing. But the city's cost of living has grown unabated despite decades of rent control, which, coupled with restricted zoning, has made the city's housing shortage worse. So in other words, he planned on freezing the rent. Let's go to 2 Peter 2:1. Because this policy that he's saying, he's really getting a lot of people's attention. Because once you start putting having money involved, people say, oh, whoa, he's actually doing something for the people. I mean, he's not the only one who is doing this. This is not something new. Lots of politicians, they do that. They will start off with money because that gets people attention. Whoa, we're broke here. The rent in New York City is so much money, we can't pay this. And you're going to freeze the rent? Wow. But remember how a serpent starts off. A serpent starts off on its belly on the ground before it attacks. So when it's on the ground, it's hard to detect because it stays stealthy. So this is 2 Peter 2:1. But there was false prophets among the people. Now, a prophet is a person that tells the future. Just like Mamdani, he's trying to tell the future. Yes, he's going to freeze rent. That's one of his policies, freezing the rent. 2 Peter 2:1. But there were false prophets also among the people, even as there shall be false teachers among you, who privately shall bring in damnable heresies. Heresies is divisions. All right. Yes, he's trying to divide New Yorkers. Yeah, listen, the scriptures don't lie. It tells what's happening in the future. He's over here trying to cause divisions in New York. That's what the heresy is. Even denying the Lord that brought them. Yes, he doesn't even believe that Jesus is Lord. Why? Because he's a Muslim, a Nicolaitan. There's a reason why they were ordered to get kicked out the churches, because they had that doctrine of conquering. So it says, even denying the Lord that brought them, and bring upon them swift destruction. When I say get kicked out the churches, in old times in Revelations, like we read, the Nicolaitans were told by Christ they had the deeds of the Nicolaitans, which is to conquer the people, whether spiritually or forcefully. These conquerors had to get out. He has that same doctrine, conquering the people. This time he's conquering their minds. Let's go to 2 Peter 2:2. And many shall follow their pernicious ways. Yeah, they're like Mamdani. His name is M.E. Yeah, they made a whole song about him. The Mamdani song. Come on now.
The name is Mamdani. M-A-M-D-A-N-I. The name is Mamdani. M-A-M-D-A-N-I. You should learn how to say it. M-A-M-D-A-N-I.
They're going to make a song about him, and of course people are following him. By reason of whom the way of truth shall be evil spoken of. Yeah, soon they're going to be speaking of people who believe in the Bible as evil. Thanks. I mean, even Christ even warned us. It says somewhere in the scriptures that people who attack the believers of Christ is going to be looked at as they did a good thing. Yeah, it says that in the scriptures. 2 Peter 2:3. And through covetousness shall they with feigned words, the words that he say, feigned, make merchandise of you. Man, money. Make money of the people. Why? He's taking money from one group of people, a lot of wealthy people, and helping the poor out, like some Robin Hood. 2 and 3, whose judgment now of a long time lingereth not, and their damnation slumbereth not. But let's see another policy other than freezing the rent. What's something else that he's doing? $30 minimum wage. Oh, wow. Another policy, another poison or policy. He really wants to give New York City a $30 minimum wage. So the federal minimum wage bracket, which is in Washington, D.C., is, I believe, is $17.50. And he wants to go beyond that. Let me read this whole thing. It says, $30 minimum wage. There's a good reason for New Yorkers to be skeptical of Mamdani's plan to raise the minimum wage. When the city raised the minimum wage to $15 an hour in 2018, the predictable result was increased unemployment and black market in labors, nearly doubling the current minimum wage of $16.50 by 2030 would produce similar consequences. So in other words, if you rise the minimum wage, there's going to be problems for businesses, especially businesses that start up. Because if they're starting up as a small business and they have to pay their people $30 an hour, that's going to be a problem. But people, they see that money. Once people see that money, they go crazy. 2 Peter 2:18. It says, for when they shall speak great swelling words of vanity. Yeah, these great swelling words of vanity, swelling words. $30 minimum wage. That's a swelling word right there. They allure through the lusts of the flesh. Allure means to beguile or entice or entrap. Yeah, they entrap you through the lusts of your flesh, through much wantonness. Wantonness is lasciviousness, uncontrolled lust. Want. Most of the times like sexual lust, but it could be like anything they want. People want money. They know they can do a lot with money. Especially in New York, you have so many lustful things, lustful passions in New York. And now he's making it seem like he's like giving away money. $30 an hour. So you mean to tell me some guy that's in a corner store just sweeping up this store with no degree or no certification, that's sweeping up the store, can make $30 an hour? People like that. Let me keep reading. Through that were clean escaped from them who live in error. So in other words, there's certain people who is like trying to walk away from wickedness, but now they're being enticed again. They're being enticed to follow after an evil man. You have just certain people who just want to live their lives in a righteous way, but he's tricking them with this money. I mean, let's go to verse 19. While they promised him liberty, meaning freedom, they themselves are servants of corruption, meaning destruction. This guy, Mamdani, is a servant of destruction. For of whom a man is overcome, the same is brought into bondage. Yeah, this guy can't stop with what he's doing, tricking the people. They really think they're going to get $30 an hour. We're going to see if we're going to hold them to that. That's going to be $30 an hour. Woo. Let's see another policy that he's saying. All right, free bus rides. Wow. Mamdani promised to eliminate the fare on every city bus and make them fast and free. The plan would cost taxpayers $600 million to $800 million annually and likely result in slower speeds, which is what happened when the city piloted 5 fare-free bus lines in 2023 and 2024. Man, free bus rides. That sounds good. Man, Psalms 55:11 says, wickedness is in the midst thereof, deceit and guile. Guile, which is deceit, departs not from his streets. So these people just going to be riding the bus for free, going all throughout New York for free. Come on. People already know that that's a lie. For free. So all these thugs and homeless people or these addicts just going all the way from, they can go all the way from Battery Park all the way to nearly Gun Hill Road or up in the Bronx just for free. And he's allowing this. Wow. This guy really is a serpent. Let's see another a policy. Government-run grocery stores. Mamdani has proposed not-for-profit government-run grocery stores subsidized to the tune of $140 million a year to reduce prices at the checkout counter. Whoa. New York grocery stores, like others across the countries, operate on razor-thin margins. Yeah, man. The profit motive isn't to blame for high grocery prices, inflations, and supply chain disruptions are. So, government runs grocery stores. So, in other words, that's where he talks about his little socialist agenda. So, but you can't trust him. Psalms 55:20. It says, he hath put forth his hands against such as be at peace with him. Yeah, all these businesses that want to come together and have this government-run grocery store for New York City and be similar to I guess, well, they tried to do this. It was something called Walmart, where they want to control a lot of things in New York City. Walmart, yeah. Walmart wanted to have big superstores where they just run everything. But hey, the mayors of Newark at that time was nope, we ain't doing it. But he wanted to try the same thing. So Walmart failed, and he's trying to do the same thing. Let me read 55:20, Psalms 55:20. He hath put forth his hands against such as be at peace with him. He has broken his covenant. Yeah, he's going to break that. Government-run grocery stores trying to do that Walmart agenda. Come on, if Walmart failed and he's trying to place this all the grocery stores under this little Walmart thing, meaning everything government-run. I mean, you could already see the lies from this serpent. I mean, come on, let's see something else. Universal daycare. Now this sounds good. To prevent an exodus of families struggling to afford childcare, Zohran wants to offer free childcare to children 6 weeks to 5 years old. Mamdani's state-run daycare would cost taxpayers, including parents who work part-time or stay at home, to take care of their children, themselves an estimate $6 billion annually. But just think about this. Universal daycare. That actually sounds good. Yeah, it really sounds good. So people can get their free childcare. Oh man, let's go to Psalms 55:21 because that really sounds good about that universal daycare so everybody can afford. I had to get people's attention. Now you're bringing the children in at that. Oh yes, Psalms 55:21. The words of his mouth were smoother than butter. Oh man, the universal daycare. Bringing the children in who are sick so they can always get anything that they're struggling with. Or anything like children 5 that's struggling for child care, or anything that deals with children being sick, or children that wants to needs help raising their children, or anything that deals with the kids. His words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. What's that war? The war of your mind. He's tricking your mind. His words were softer than oil. It sounds so good. Universal daycare. Yet we're drawing swords. Yeah, what's that? He's trying to take control of everything. That's the thing, what he's trying to do. So all these were the policies that I was going over. But there's something I want to tell you about this. These are the Nicolaitans, which are the Muslims, and what they have. They have something called Taqiyya, and that's what he's using. What is Taqiyya? Taqiyya is a religious concept that allows Muslims to lie, deceive, or hide their beliefs if it helps spread Islam or protect its agenda. Let me say this again. Taqiyya is a religious concept that allows Muslims to lie, deceive, or hide their beliefs if it helps spread their agenda. Yeah. So, is he using Taqiyya with all this? He's a Muslim. He said he's a Muslim. Is he using Taqiyya? Yes. And there's so many witnesses that are saying this. Like regular Muslims, regular Nicolaitan Muslims are saying, yes, he's using Taqiyya. Yes, he is. He's using Taqiyya. A lot of regular Muslims are saying this. There's videos on it.
If New York elects that Zohran Mamdani guy, good luck. New York will be turned into a mosque.
He seemed like such a walking contradiction to me.
Exactly.
Because he talks the language of the far left when it comes to things like abortion, sex, homosexuality, which are anathema to most Muslims. He's doing that, and then at the same time...
Exactly.
Is he a practicing Muslim?
In Islam, they have a teaching called Taqiyya. Taqiyya is where you're allowed to lie for the sake of spreading Islam. When I look at Zohran Mamdani going in the street, acting like an American kind of one day, and then acting like a Muslim one day, eating with his hand one day, and then wearing a suit like he's westernized, I look at this guy and I'm like, I think he's practicing Taqiyya. Muhammad commands you can lie for the sake of spreading Islam. Zohran Mamdani, when he says, I love the trans community, I want to fund them, he's either practicing Taqiyya because under Islam, transgenders and homosexuals must be executed, or he's not a Muslim. One of them. And I would love for him to be very clear.
Or is he a cafeteria Muslim? They talk about like cafeteria Catholics where they say, I'm a Catholic, and it's like, well, you go to mass, but you don't live the teachings of the faith. But you think that your suspicion, based on your experience living in Egypt, growing up in Egypt, is that it's something more sinister than that.
It's either he's a very lukewarm or not a Muslim at all, or he's practicing Taqiyya. If he is practicing Taqiyya and New York votes this guy in, good luck. New York will be turned into a mosque. People will be praying in the street, and it's happening right now, by the way. New York is already, the Muslims are praying loud and proud in the streets. If he is practicing Taqiyya, you need to vote this guy out.
I think either way we should vote him out.
100%. Vote him out.
Muslims have a secret Islamic practice called Taqiyya. It allows Muslims to lie about their faith. It started as a way for Muslims to deny their faith when their life was threatened. But how it's used today is far more sinister. Even within Islam, Shias use it a lot because they are minorities and supercharged it after Muhammad died. Shia Muslims would pretend to be Sunni to avoid being persecuted by the Sunni majority. So unlike Christians who would rather be martyred than deny their faith, Muslims would look at you in the face and say that they are not Muslim in order to not be persecuted or to not be unalived. Muslim leaders have expanded the definition to literally lying about anything. That's why a lot of Muslim leaders you will see in public support something that doctrinally make absolutely no sense and do not coexist with Islam. This practice is what allows Muslims to collaborate with the far left and the Rainbow Gang. So next time you see Mamdani smiling at a pride parade, just know, is this really him or is he practicing Taqiyya? I know the answer. They're laughing at us. Also, if you want to know how to grow on social media, I have 10 years of experience. Hit my link in my bio.
Lying's not always a sin in Islam. Being deceptive is good. And again, Allah is khayr al-makirin. He is the great deceiver. So you're allowed to be deceptive. God is not just good, he's also bad. So, and that's what I believe is happening in New York.
Really?
So,
you think Mamdani is practicing Taqiyya?
1,000%. 1,000%.
He's presenting
the
as
Muslims are laughing at you guys. Like this is the funniest thing. Like, dude, give it 50 more years, entire New York's gonna be Muslim, and then before you know, there's gonna be Sharia courts, and then like y'all are. It's like shooting yourself in the foot. Like I can't even believe. And like you see Europe, you look at Europe, it's happening right now, and then you're like, oh, let's just do it here in New York. Like it's like no, like you have to stop. Like obviously Taqiyya is working, and they're doing an amazing job at it, and they're fooling everyone. Like, and all the Muslims are like so happy that's happening. Like this is the best thing that could happen in Islam, and he's gonna win. Because we're too stupid. Like, no matter how many times ex-Muslims will say, Taqiyya is a real thing, they are lying to you, they will take over within 100 years, no one's going to listen. Because we just assume that our God is the same as their God. We just assume that their God will tell them not to lie, but their God tells them to lie. That's the difference.
But are you could it be that someone like a Mamdani, he's Muslim, he's a practicing Muslim, self-professed?
So, as you've seen all those videos, they're saying, yes, he's using Taqiyya. He's using Taqiyya, so he's able to lie. That's the thing about these Nicolaitans. They're able to lie and get away with it, as long as it's helping to spread their beliefs. Let's see how the Most High feel about liars. Psalms 12 and 19. The lip of truth shall be established forever, but a lying tongue is but for a moment. Yeah, the lies that he said, all these policies, these lies that he's saying, it's only going to be for a moment, before people start waking up to see the devil that he is. Let me continue. This is Proverbs 29 and 12. If a ruler hearken to lies, all his servants are wicked. Oh man, that's deep. If a ruler like Mamdani hearkens to lies, he believes in his own lies, or people who's with his cabinet, who's around him believe it, all his servants are wicked. So all the people who believe him, they're wicked too. Proverbs 12 and 22. Lying lips are abomination to the Lord. Lying lips are abomination to the Lord. So the Lord, he doesn't like Taqiyya at all. That's an abomination to the Lord. But they that deal truly are his delight. Yeah. Because the thing is, if Mamdani would have told the truth from the beginning, he probably wouldn't get no supporters. So he had to come out here with his lies. And some of the lies don't make no sense. $30 minimum wage. Come on now. So where are these lies that he's coming from? This Taqiyya. Who made up this Taqiyya? Where is this Taqiyya coming from? Let's see where Taqiyya is coming from. John 8 and 44. This is where the Nicolaitans or the Muslims get their Taqiyya from. Ye are of your father the devil, and the lusts of your father ye will do. Whoa. Their father the devil. What was he doing? He was a murderer from the beginning, yes, because he was the one that enticed Cain to kill Abel, and abode not in the truth. He don't want to stay in the truth. Why? Because there's no truth in him. When he speaks a lie, he speaks it of his own, for he is a liar and the father of it. So where did Taqiyya come from? The devil. So now we understand that this guy, Mamdani, is dealing with the doctrine of devils. He's dealing with doctrines of devils and not of the Most High. He's that serpent. He's one of these serpents that's in the grass. Don't trust him. Don't believe him. He's that Nicolaitan. He's one of these Nicolaitans that's trying to conquer your mind. Revelations 2:15, and I'll end it like this. So hast thou also them that hold the doctrine of the Nicolaitans, which thing I hate. The Nicolaitans are the conquerors, and Christ hated their doctrine because they're trying to conquer people's minds by making like vain words and sentences and get people so happy and make so many promises. But at the end, they're lies, just like he exposed himself with that whole Taqiyya. Why? Because they come from Satan, the devil. And these are undercover Satan worshipers. These are those Nicolaitans. They follow the deeds of the Nicolaitans to conquer people's minds. Yes, they're the conquerors. They said that everybody will enter into every household, everyone. That's how they look at it. They're saying that nightmare, they call it the whole Islamic nightmare, will come true. But we have to stand firm and believe in our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, who is also called Yahweh Shah HaMashiach. So we have to watch and pray and watch out for these wicked Nicolaitans as they try to conquer the world through their wickedness and its sublimity and by getting controls of people's mind. So watch and pray and watch out for these Nicolaitans who want to conquer.
We are the messengers of the messenger. We are the representative of this deen of Islam. We have to be the solution. The future is ours. Every ideal nightmare of a Muslim Europe will come true. They can be as mad as they want.